Alright guys, what's going on? Today is Thursday and we missed two Thursdays. We missed two streams, so I do believe that you guys missed the live streams with me because you can ask the questions, you can get the best information right here and the trending information. And today you will learn how the presidency of Trump is going to impact the immigration field. Okay, I have about, let me see, I have about 6 main points to make today, but I will add more stuff in it. Okay, so 6 specific points addressing all immigration fields, not only the investment and employment, but also the broader implications. So stay tuned. I think today's material is going to be super interesting if you're planning to come to the US, if you're planning to immigrate, to get a green card. Very important stuff. So before we begin, let me see what you guys get to say. Nayan Patel, hello, this is a great event. Yes, Nayan, I do agree with you. To educate people seeking for US immigration or investing in US. Will Trump administration have any possible impact on E2 visa opportunities? So great question, great question. I'm going to address it today, Nayan. I'm going to address it when the time is right for one of those points. Mike Dead, hey, any changes to O1 visa expect after Trump? Okay, I'm going to address that too. Good questions, good questions. I have those in mind. So without any further ado, let's begin. The point number 1 that I'm going to address today, guys, is legal immigration and employment-based visas. Okay, and definitely I'm going to address the E2 and O1 question within the time frame of this bullet point. So let's first begin with non-immigrant visas. Okay, and what are the non-immigrant visas? The H-1B, L1, E2, and O1 visas. These are the main visas that we are working with, and those are the main visas that are the point of interest to you guys. Okay, so let's begin with the question: is Trump administration going to change the law addressing the eligibility for H-1B, L1, E2, and O1 visas? And honestly, nobody knows. Nobody knows. But we have the past presidency of Trump, 2017 to 2021, to see whether any changes were made into the law back then. And the answer to this is no. No legal requirements were changed. Okay? Yes, there were a little bit the changes in the policies, and the policies are the ones that are used to interpret the laws, but they were not significant. Okay, they were not significant. So I do not believe that we will have any significant change in the law under the Trump administration to address E2, L1, O1, and H1B visas. Okay, and that's only about the criteria for those visas. Okay, so this is number 1. That's the legal immigration, the non-immigrant visas. Second point in this bullet point is merit-based immigration. So based on the past, and this is great news for you guys. This is just great news. Trump administration focuses on employment-based visas, immigrant employment-based visas, more than the family-based visas. What does that mean? That means that if you guys planning to file your EB1A, EB1B, EB1C, EB2, EB2 NIW, EB3, EB4, EB5, you will not only get the priority among other visas, but also a higher chance of approval. And you may ask, Stanislav, what do you base your argument about these points? And let me explain. Guys, let me explain. Not only this is the official position of the Trump's administration that they are all about legal immigration and they're very against illegal immigration, but also the pure statistics. If you take 2017, 2018, 19, 20, that's when the Trump was the president, right? And you take all the visas, immigrant visas filed in those categories, and the amount of approvals, you will see that those numbers are higher than the similar numbers during the Obama administration and Biden administration. Okay? So what else you need to be confident that the legal immigrant petitions will get more chances of approval? Okay? That's the best proof. There's nothing else. The statistics. Okay? So that's what concerning the legal immigration and employment-based visas. Point number 2, humanitarian and family-based immigration. And here I have bad news, okay? And I do not specialize on those programs. And probably you guys are not a part of this movement either. But we have to address it. We have to address. And I believe that addressing these issues emphasize the importance of legal immigration. Okay? So what's going to happen to programs like DACA, TPSs, and other family immigration programs, and diversity lottery? By the way, DV lottery is a part of this point. Okay? So I do believe that those programs are going to be either cancelled or significantly reduced. Okay? So those who are having TPS, temporary protected status, or going to participate in visa diversity lottery, or in a DACA, or other similar programs, those people are in trouble. Okay? And I disagree with this. Although I support Trump, I disagree with this move, but that's the reality, guys. That's the reality. So humanitarian programs, temporary protected statuses are going to be cancelled or significantly reduced. Okay? That's the second point. Let's move on. The third point is enforcement and compliance. And this is really important to understand. Because Trump is for legal immigration and he's against fake or illegal immigration, his administration is going to implement the checks and balances to make sure that your H-1B, L-1, O-1, E2 petitions are legitimate. What does that mean? That means that the administration is going to put a lot of resources in verifying that the employer is the legitimate employer. That means that they may send commissioners and officers to the work sites. They may request additional documents with the petitions proving that those are legitimate employers and not the fake or fraudulent ones. excuse me, they will be requesting I-9 forms from the employers to make sure that employees in that employer's company are legitimate and not the illegal immigrants. But guys, you do not need to be scared of that. That is actually going to protect you. Stanislav, how's this gonna protect me? Like, I'm scared that I'm gonna file my H1B or L1 or whatever, and they're gonna just deny it based on what you're saying. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that because those who fake their cases, those who fake their employers, and don't provide the legitimate documents, and by the way, we never do these, guys, right? If you're working with my company, we never do this. All our filings are legit, right? So because those who are involved in bad faith filing gonna be denied, the chances of your approval are increasing. Okay? You get what I'm saying? You understand the point I'm making, right? Because your petitions are legit and there are ones that are not legit. The chances of your approval are going higher. Okay? So compliance and enforcement move, although sounds scary, oh my God, they're going to send people to check if my company is legitimate and they have the office. Yeah, but if it's a legitimate office and they open 9 to 6 and there's a person there or persons, there's nothing to be scared of. Okay? That's actually good, because if they send the people there and then you go to the embassy, they know that they checked your employer, and that's the only issue they have, that your employer might not be legit. All right? So this is good. Although it may sound it's not good, but it is good. Okay. Point number 4. Regulatory and judicial challenges. Okay? We know that Trump is going to do the executive orders. And those executive orders might not be lawful, right? That's the nature. That's the nature of those things. And not because it's Trump. Biden did a lot of illegal executive orders that were challenged in the court and still being challenged. It's not about Republicans or Democrats. It's just about overstepping the power of being a president. That's why, guys, we love this country, which has a true democracy with judicial system working properly. Okay? So, yes, we do expect the executive orders that might not be very lawful, but again, those orders are not going to touch the legal immigration. Okay? So when you guys hear, oh my God, Trump signed the executive order sending the troops to the south border of the US. Well, that's immigration issue, but has nothing to do with your legitimate filings, with you going through the change of status, with you going through the adjustment of status, with you going through the embassy. Okay? Yeah, they're gonna sound scary, but they're not. Okay? So do not be scared when you hear that Trump signed some executive order doing certain things. That's unlikely to affect you. Okay? Let's move on. Point number 5. Impact on specific visa categories. Okay? And here I'm going to discuss 3 main categories. EB2 and EB3 visa programs, and H4 EAD and OPT programs. Okay? And I know a lot of you are a part of those programs. Okay? So listen attentively, guys. What we're going to face with EB2 and EB3, and this is kind of unfortunate, but we'll have to go through this. I do believe that the classic EB2 and EB3s are going to be scrutinized more than it was with Biden administration. Okay? What does it mean that they're going to be scrutinized more? Well, we're going to get more delays. We're going to get more RFEs. And we're going to be having additional compliance requirements for the classic EB2, EB3. And guys, I do not take EB2 NIW as a part of this particular category. Okay? Classic EB2, EB3 with a labor certification. So if you are going to go through EB2 or EB3, expect a harder, more difficult way to get them approved. Okay? Why? Because Trump's administration, although pro-legal immigration, but they also want to protect the American employees. So this is the policy behind it. However, if this process is done properly, you got the prevailing wage properly, you got the recruiting properly, you got the labor certification properly, you got the ability to pay of the company properly, there is nothing to worry about. Okay? There's nothing to worry about. Yes, they can start doing more audits through the Department of Labor, they can send more RFEs, but if we have all the documents in place, there's nothing to worry about. So I do believe that the only thing that's worrisome is the delay. Okay? But because we know that the priority date for EB2 and EB3 is the day when we file for labor certification and not the day of approval of I-140, there is no fall. There is no harm, guys. Because the priority dates are at least a year and a half for EB2 and about 2-3 years for EB3. So additional audit or request for evidence on any stage after filing of the labor certification is no harm. Okay? As long as all the paperwork is good. And it must be good. All right? So, yes, there's going to be obstacles, but we're going to overcome them. Okay? So, feel safe as long as you're doing everything legitimately. The next point here is H4 EAD and OPT programs. Okay? What is H4 EAD? Well, that's the policy that if you are on H-1B visa and you got approval for employment-based visa, based on that, your spouse on H-4 may get the work permit. Okay? And this concerns significantly the Indian citizens. Okay? The Indians are the ones that are mostly affected by this because a lot of Indians have H-1Bs and EB2 or EB3 approved, and there's a long wait. So, if for whatever reason Trump's administration is going to revise the H-4 EAD for the spouses, that's bad news. I do not say that this is going to happen, but I'm saying that there is a risk of this happening. Likewise, the OPTs. I don't think it's gonna be revised, but there is a risk. Okay? how that may affect? Well, they may limit the groups and categories that may get extended OPT. What's OPT? Is the right to work after you got your diploma in the US. Okay? Everybody gets 1 year, extended OPT up to 3 years, but those categories in STEM may be reduced. That's the risk. Okay? Now, what's the solution to this? What's the solution to an Indian with H1B and the spouse getting EAD with EB2 approved? You guys know the answer. EB1A. EB1A. We resolved so many issues and fates and lives of our Indian clients in this situation through approvals of EB1As. Okay? So if you guys in this situation, what's the situation? You're Indian born, you're on H1B, your spouse has H4 EAD, and you have EB2 or EB3 approved, okay? Most of you are eligible to get EB1A approved and substitute the priority date for your EB1A as if it was approved when your EB2 was approved. All right? So, how to do that? You guys need to get through the free evaluation to know if you're eligible for EB1A. And not only Indians, all of you guys should go through the free evaluation. So I will ask the moderator to drop the link in the comment section with the link to the questionnaire for the free evaluation for EB1A visa. All you guys need to do is to click on the link, answer the questions, and wait for 2 days for me to come back to you with initial analysis and tell you if you have the potential. Okay? Moderator, WhatsApp link is good. Give me the free evaluation link, please. That's what I'm asking. Okay? If that doesn't happen, I'll drop it myself, guys. So worry not. Okay, let's move on. I have one more point to make out of the 6. So let's summarize. At this point. So we addressed the legal immigration and employment-based visas, H1B, L1, O1, E2, and the focus on merit-based immigration, employment-based, the first point. We addressed the humanitarian and family-based immigration. Okay? I do believe that those programs are going to be reduced. Number 3, enforcement and compliance. We are going to see more requests for evidence proving that your employer is legit. Okay? Number 4, regulatory and judicial challenges. We are going to see executive orders of the Trump administration that are going to be challenged in court. This is just a reality. But they're not gonna attack the legal immigration. All right? Number 5, impact on specific visa categories. The one that we just discussed, EB2, EB3, with more audits, and H4 EAD and OPT programs. And yes, definitely we're gonna see some problems and difficulties there, especially for Indian-born people, but EB1A is the way out, the way off the boat. Okay, last point and then additional bonus point. Border and security measures. Believe me, guys, that thing is gonna blow. I don't know what he's gonna do, but he's gonna protect the south border. Okay, with the wall, with the troops, with the federal agents, and that's good news. Guys, we want to live in a safe country. And believe me, they still going to let those illegal immigrants in, but they're gonna sort them out. Okay? And you'll be like, Stanislav, why they're gonna let them in? Well, because they know they need cheap labor. Okay? So there's practical interest in having people with no documents in the US because they're gonna provide cheap labor. And cheap labor is the basis for the growth of economy. Okay? But because you guys, all legal immigrants, you do not need to worry about that. And last, the bonus point, last but not least, and I think it's the most important. Because the Trump's administration is going to focus on a merit-based immigration as the priority. And because they're going to increase the compliance and enforcements and audits and checkups of the employers, the best solutions for you based on these 2 points, guys, are EB1A and EB2NIW. Guys, these 2 programs are going to blossom. They're going to explode. Why? For 2 reasons. Because they are merit-based. Okay? You get them approved based on your achievement and recognition, and that's what we specialize in. And because they do not require an employer. So guys, this is a no-brainer. It's been a no-brainer before. Now it's so obvious that these 2 programs are going to just explode. No employer, so there's no one to check. And the merit-based, the focus of the Trump administration. Okay? And by the way, these are 2 visas that I'm specializing in. So you guys need to think today how you're gonna get EB1A or EB2NIW approved. If you're Indian, you have only one option, EB1A. And we know how to do this. If you are everybody else, not an Indian born, you also have an option of EB2NIW. All right? I will ask the moderator to drop the link to EB2NIW for the free evaluation. And of course, when I say EB1A, I also include O1, the smaller sister of EB1A, in this equation. Okay? Yes, it's going to be still requiring the employer, and you may get the check and audit, but if it's a legit O1, there's nothing to worry about. Okay? So guys, that's the bottom line of today's stream. So let's discuss this. Let's spend 10-15 minutes discussing this. Let me see what kind of questions you guys got. All right. NASA. If EB2NIW petition is submitted on September, how long would it take to get a decision? Texas Center filing. NASA, if you did not file for expedited processing, which is 45 days to get that thing approved, it may take up to a year and a half. Okay? So I do recommend to go with expedited processing for all type of visas. And I know a lot of attorneys and a lot of people who file claim that you have better chances to get approval with regular processing. I disagree strongly based on the data. And my data is the best data in the industry. Okay? Because we file a lot of cases and we get a lot of approvals. And yes, maybe it's 2-3% difference between approval on expedited processing and regular processing. But guys, 2-3% in the immigration field is a lot. Trust me, it's a lot. So I do recommend expedited processing. If not, NASA, start developing your patience because things is gonna go for a while. And there is the second reason why you do not want to file non-expedited processing. And that reason is if your case goes to the officer in the blacklist, and I don't know, NASA, who you filed your case with, I have the blacklist of the officers. If you get one of those MFs, okay, it's not good news for you. Unless you're like, you're top of the top of the top and your project is top of the top of the top. Okay? That way, if you get that bad officer with expedited processing, you still have time to withdraw and refile your case to get a good officer. And you're not going to waste all the time in the world. That's going to bring you a lot of damage. A lot of damage. Okay? KPJP Florida, thumbs up given. Thank you, KPJP. Thank you for your love. I appreciate it. Guys, I appreciate when you give me a feedback, even if it's a negative feedback. I still appreciate it because I put a lot of work and my time to give you that value. Okay? So when I give a feedback from you, whether it's love, whether it's a constructive criticism, that matters a lot for me. So thank you. Thank you, KPGP. I really appreciate it. Kevin, when you are ready to file EB2 and IW, how long should you wait for the visa bulletin to become current? Is it possible to file for adjustment of status and EAD documents at the same time? Okay, good question, Kevin. So when you file it, all you need to do is to open up the current visa bulletin. And guys, by the way, a fresh visa bulletin was released yesterday. Okay? And no change. Okay? No change for employment-based categories whatsoever. Same as the prior one. So EB1A, current. EB5, current. Everything else stayed the same. Okay? No change. No change for EB2, EB3, EB4. All right? So, Kevin, I will assume you are not Indian born. Okay? So, for you, if you file today, the expected wait time until your visa becomes available is about 1 year and 9 months. And if you are in the US, you cannot file for EAD and adjustment of status and the advanced parole. Why? Because your visa is not available. So you need to strategize, and that's what I do at the complex immigration planning. How you gonna close the gap if you don't have the legal status in the US? one of the best options is O1 visa. Okay? If you have a case for EB2 NIW, chances are you have a case for O1. Okay? So make sure, Kevin, that you fill out the free evaluation form for EB1, which is also for O1, so I could give you this answer. Okay? Good question. Rebel Science. I'm collecting information for my EB2 NIW and will be contacting you soon. Yes! Yes, Rebel Science. You should begin with a free evaluation. How long do you take to review it? And if you think it's not enough, will you provide a blunt response about the chances? So, with the free evaluation, Rebel, I will let you know if I see the potential in your case. And potential means that we can work on your case for 6 months, significantly improve it, and get your case to the level of 90+% chances of approval. Guys, I got approval yesterday in the morning for EB2 NIW for the gas and oil engineer. We had to refile the case. That's actually a good example for that question where you asked how long should I wait. We filed that case, expedited, and we got a really bad officer. So we withdrew and refiled, and we got it approved. Okay? So imagine this case without expedited approval. We would learn that we got this bad officer in a year and a half. Okay, maybe 6 months up to 2 years. That's the range. Okay, so imagine the damage to the client. That's really bad. So yes, expedited processing. And of course, Rebel, you're not going to have a blunt answer. If I just don't see anything, like you don't have a good project, you don't have national importance, you're not well positioned, I'm just going to tell you, just don't have anything. I don't know if that's blunt enough, right? I don't know what I mean by this. But yeah, I'm going to explain why I think you don't have the case. But if you do, I will invite you to the complex immigration planning, where I will create a written strategy for your case from day one to you getting your citizenship. Okay? That's really important. Good question. Aravind, how will the H4 EAD be under Trump? All right, Aravind, I already talked about this. So I'm not going back to this question. So you need to rewatch my stream because I already addressed it a few times. Okay? So make sure you go back. NASA is laughing. Yes. I have submitted normal processing. Yeah. Follow with I-907 NASA. Please do. Okay? You don't want that. You don't want that stress. So I know you have to spend $2,800 for this. Trust me. Best investment in your life. You know the answer fast, and you can act if something goes wrong. Very important. And by the way, just because there's a backlog for this, and I noticed that, guys. I noticed that NIWs are already scrutinized more, even under Biden. So we do get more RFEs. We still get them approved, right? But it's just harder. It's just harder. And it's more stressful for you and for us. So NASA, don't wait. Follow up with the expedited processing. Okay? Do you think there will be more RFEs and denials in STEM petitions as well? Any expert opinion on this, sir? No, I actually don't think so. I actually think that the STEM is going to be more preferable under the Trump administration. Why? Because they're not stupid, guys. Okay? Don't think that Republicans are silly or they don't understand. No. They understand even better than everybody else. And they understand that the stem petitions under EB1A, EB1B, EB1C, and H1B, and EB2 and IWs, and everybody else are the most demanded for the economy. Because you guys building this country. Okay, we are building this country, right? I'm also an immigrant, and you guys are immigrants. And the Trump administration want us from the STEM industry. Okay? So no, I don't think so. I think other categories are going to get more scrutinized because STEM engineers, architects, doctors, IT, cybersecurity, blockchain, you name it, all these professions are in huge demand. Okay? AI, artificial intelligence, oh my God, those buzzwords, drones, the blockchain, the agricultural sector, guys, those are going to be approved like this. AI application, agricultural application, blockchain application. Okay? All right, guys. I'm trying to entertain you also. Okay, good question. Matthew, hey, for EB1A, if we get approved this month on premium I-140, when will I have my green card in my hand? After approval, what can I do to speed up green card? All right, great question, Matthew. So, one thing is missing here. Are you in the US on a legitimate non-immigrant status? So let me know. But let me answer with both options. So option number one, you are in the US. And option number two, or you can be in the US. Okay, let's put it this way. Or you're not in the US and you cannot come to the US. So the first one, if you are in the US, you will immediately file 485, I-131, and I-765 forms. 485, 765, 131. Yes, and I see Matthew, yes. E2 change of status. Oh, very good. You mentioned that. I don't know if you're working with the attorney. I assume you do work with the attorney. So make sure, Matthew, that your attorney is aware that when you file the adjustment of status from your E2, he needs to file an additional document. Okay? And that document is you rejecting your E2 status for the purpose of getting immigration visa. Okay? Make sure you ask him this question so he or she knows that they need to add additional paper, and that happens only when you are on E2 visa status. Okay? Make sure, because if they don't, and these things may go really wrong, okay? So, all right, let's assume they know what they're doing, and they file 485 and everything else. So provided you got approval in September, because EB1A priority date is based on the date they received your petition. Not the day they approved it, but the day they received it. So you may get RFE, whatever, but the priority date is going to be September. So let's say you got approved, okay? Your priority date is September, you file 485, so count 6 to 9 months to get your green card, okay? So let's say, I didn't see if it got approved. Yes, you got approved. So September you got approved. They filed 485, they did it properly. I would be positive you'll get your work permit before the new year and maybe advance parole. And your green card is probably around before May 2025. Okay? So maybe a little longer, but likely even before that. Okay, the second option, and I know Matthew said that he already got approved. If Matthew was outside of the US and he went through the embassy, his interview would be around May 2025, and they would give the immigrant visas for 6 months. So Matthew would have to come to the US before the end of the fall 2025. Jamie, how many scientific publications do you recommend for EB1A, and how many memberships? Some say that 1 is enough, some say even 3 is not enough. I'm confused. Good question, Jamie. Yes, I know a lot of people have different opinions. So one membership association is enough. Okay, it's rare. Association is the rarest criterion in EB1A or O1A or O1B. Okay, so I wouldn't worry much if you don't have it, but if you have, 1 is enough. For the scientific publications, I want 4. Okay, 4 or more. 4 or more for EB1A. Mike, when you get a bad officer for your client, do you charge an extra legal fee? I understand that USCIS fee will have to be repaid, of course. No. Mike, no. If we withdraw in Refile, I do not charge you nothing. And that's the benefit you guys get working with us. 1 of a million benefits, right? And you guys know the NEO program, the NEO Plus program, the exclusive business private club you become a member of, and all this good stuff, and the blacklist of the officers. You get the benefit of getting the access to all this. Okay? And yes, I will charge you $0.00 to refile this case at the time of RFE. Good question. Matthew, thank you, Stanislav. And on travel parole, which I will get in this case, I can travel to my country. Sure. Once you get it, of course. And come back for my green card, right? Yes. So once you file 485 and you got your advanced parole before the green card, because if you got your green card before, which sometimes is the case, guys. Okay? Sometimes you get the green card before you got the EAD and advanced parole. I just got case. We filed her adjustment of status based on EB1A in beginning of August, September, October, end of October, she got the green card. Before advanced parole, but after the EAD. Okay? And I have cases throughout this year where my clients got the green cards within 1 month. Okay? So, but I do have cases where my clients waited for a year for adjustment of status, green card. But the average is between 6 to 9 months. All right? So I know it's a little bit confusing, but guys, welcome to my world, okay? Where things are crazy. Sometimes it's just crazy. And you know those examples because I shared with you during those streams. Okay, so no, it will not be abandoned. It will be abandoned, Matthew, only if you leave US before you got your advanced parole or a green card. With advanced parole, it's not going to be abandoned. Cross of pen. Do you offer any discounts for relatively stronger profiles and Russian speakers? and he'll guys, and he's laughing because he knows that we have no discounts, guys, but we have 4 levels of pricing. Okay, so it's kind of, we don't provide any additional discount because your discount is already within those offers. Cross of pen. If you have a strong profile and Russian speaking, non-Russian speaking, I don't care. We have clients from 60 countries in the world. We have clients speaking Swahili or whatever those languages are in Africa. We don't care, as long as you're English speaking, okay? But because our price range is from 13,000 to 22,000, and the prices are and there are other between them, right? Like 13, 16, 19, 22 for EB1A and EB2 and IW. And those prices are solely based on your involvement in the case. For 13,000, you're gonna draft all the descriptive documents under my control and the control of the team based on the templates and the recommendations and the examples of those papers. And for 22, we're gonna do all this workload for you, which is about 200 cases, 200 hours for a good EB1A case, regardless if it's strong or not. It doesn't matter. The stronger the case, the more work we have to do on the case. Because there's just more achievement, there's more recognition. So they all need to be described. So the average price in the industry for EB1A is 15,000, guys. Right? So if you get the price of 13,000 with my corporation, isn't it 2,000 discount? You tell me. All right, Christiana. My sister was approved December 26, 2023 and was sent to NVC for processing. That's employment based, so how long will she get her employment letter? Cristiano, what's the type of visa? All of them employment based. Is it EB1? Is it EB2, B3, EB4, EB5? I need to know this information because without that I cannot answer your question. If it's EB1A, it's 9 months after the approval, provided that the attorney and their team acted fast, like we do, right? We take you fast through the NVC. So they get all the paperwork. So you guys get your interview in 9 months after the approval, or maybe faster. We have guys, I have case in summer that from date of approval, which was July, till the day my client held the green card in his hand, 3 months passed. So July we got him approved. In September he got his green card. You'd be like, wow, how? I don't know. Okay, that's what we're dealing with. I don't know. We got him approved. We filed the case with NVC. We paid the government fee. He got his letter of interview in end of August, and he went to the interview. He got it stamped. No administrative hold. Nothing. Now he's in the US. That's it. He started his case in February 2024. November 2024, he's with the green card. His whole family in the US. That's it, right? Okay, Christiana says EB3. Well, okay. Where, Christiana, where your sister was born? What's her country of birth? Okay, very important. So let me analyze her priority date. So if she was approved December 26, 2023, I don't know what's her priority date, Christiana, because approval for EB3 in December 26 is not her priority date. Her priority date is the date when the employer filed for her labor certification. So let's assume her labor certification, and I don't know if that's the proper priority date. Let's assume her perm was filed in December 2022. And let's assume she is the skilled employee, that she has education or at least 2 years of experience. So based on these assumptions, and she's not Indian, her priority date December 2022, and the current priority date is November 2022. That means that she's gonna have interview really, really soon. Okay? In about a month or two, her visa will become eligible, or better say available, and they will proceed with scheduling the interview. Okay? Yes, Liberia. Good. So she's good based on these assumptions. Okay? So you will reunite with your sister probably until the end of 2025, based on my assumptions. All right, guys, we're done. Please go through the free evaluation. The links are above in the chat. If you see that I told you you have the potential, come to the complex immigration planning, where I will build the written strategy for your whole immigration process. And I also will provide the list of documents for you guys. All right, it was nice stream, guys. I'll see you next Thursday. And remember, your future begins here. Good luck.